Yeah. Okay. Gentlemen, we have a system. A system rebuilt, enhanced, and weaponized for one purpose. To monitor, to archive, and to control the most dangerous organization in professional wrestling. Leagues, territories, and chaos, all contained within a single network. The IWAR Network Tubecast. Powered by intelligence, driven by violence, and now, fully operational.
All right, welcome back to the IWAR Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Alex G, and with me, as always, I think we're doing this old school style.
We are.
Comparable, Matt Riley. What's going on tonight, Matt?
There's a lot of comparables for me.
Oh.
That's all right. I appreciate it.
That's fair enough.
I am still breaking down all of the exciting action to channel my inner Bob Caudle here. Exciting night of action. I can't do it as good as Brendan Bailey used to. Brendan Bailey would talk on the phone and he would do his Bob Caudle impersonation. It was fucking spot on. Really good.
Underrated announcer, by the way.
Yeah.
100%.
Like, for Jim Ross being the kind of like, no! Although I have a running gag about, like, you always got, like, that levels of no, like, from the no to, like, the no! Jim Ross was good with the nose.
Like, he was,
Don't
like,
do it.
Caudle was, like,
Don't
in
do
the same, like, atmosphere as, like, Solely. He was, like, your grandpa. You're, like, watching wrestling with your grandpa. And that's how it was. And then you had, like, Shivani at the time who was, like, literally, like, 23 years old with him. Like,
I can tell you that watching Saturday Night Wrestling at my friend Sean's house with his mother from Barbados watching, and her reactions. Oh, why the Horseman attack Dusty? No, Dusty, why did I do it to him? And, like, it just, Ric Flair's a bad man. And she'd come in the room and, like, tell her, like, he's a bad man. And she'd walk off. Don't you be like him. Ooh. And it just made, like a sneak attack. Like, everyone should. I always said, if you have a wrestling promotion out there, have 4 of your friends sit in each side of the ring. And because what I find is, like, when people are at shows, if you have people start chanting or doing things, kids will follow in, people will join in, and it helps the show get more energy, right?
yeah.
You should have everybody at each side of the ring have somebody there to, like, help propel that show.
You know what I would do?
Mention,
I would go down to the retirement homes because wrestling needs more wrestling grandmas in the front rows. Like, and I would give them free tickets and was like, come down and be rowdy.
Yeah, come down, get your whooping. Looking at, like, who the hell? I need to do better writing. I'm terrible. The important thing is I know the results in Super Show as far as the title matches go. One match required a 3. We've been doing this thing now. We're doing where when we have events, we always break the tie by, like, last cycle score. And if both guys have the same score, it goes back because his scores are there. The only time it hurts us is I remember I was so mad at when Brian and Gary would have the same exact strats. I'm like, stop bringing the same strats. Like, the All Rookie Cup will never, ever end. And finally they did. But it hit a good score, so it didn't really hurt that bad. But with this process, it's kind of cool. Is that way you're never going to have a draw. I always find draws like, it sucks, and it makes the importance of consistency. If you're really good, you're going to get that bonus of having the extra win there.
Yeah.
All right, so a lot to talk about tonight. So much going on. My 5-hour energy is kicking in. I might put on my wrestling mask. You don't know what's going to happen tonight. It's a crazy night.
He's already not wearing any pants, so that's good.
I am wearing pants. I really should have put on my shorts because it's warm. I know I'm wearing a sweatshirt. I say that, but I have a fan on, so it's okay. And of course, I don't know if you can see me on camera or not. Let me pull this up again. You can. I can show you.
There it is.
That shows through. Yes. Love this thing. Thank you again, Kevin Hurley. All it took was a donation to a women's sporting group. Call.
They should bring back. They should bring back the membership card also at some point. Start sending those back out. If anyone still has one, I want to see it.
Quick acknowledging of Greg is C17I60 whatever. The RTL commissioner, great report, fun league. We were talking pre-show about the importance of the draft. How I'm hoping to have a really good, robust draft this year. Because certain commissioners said to me, like, oh, man, I'm frustrated. I want to get more going on. And I was saying, like, strategically, if I knew I needed to have, let's say, 5 more players in my league, and I have 3 picks, let's say there's 3 rounds, I would trade down and load up on picks because you're better off getting 5 more players.
Yeah.
You might get, like, the best writer of the group or one of the better writers. Like, like this last hour draft, we had a loaded draft. We really did. So we had a lot of good picks, a lot of good players. This time through, I don't know what's going to happen. So I have officially 3 entries. And I told you one of them is.
Also, guys, you can also create new wrestlers for the draft. That's a big thing.
Yes.
And you don't have to be in the IWAR to be drafted in. If you're outside the IWAR currently, you can always join us and have a good time. But yes, you can create new wrestlers for this as well. So if you do that, just send Matt a short bio about these guys, so the people who are drafting know what the deal is with this dude.
Yeah, you can look in this current issue of the IWAR magazine. I showed 2 examples of players who wrote their promos, their wrestlers, and it's a way of pitching your wrestler. Now, this is going to be, I think, what do we say? It's going to be August. End of August for the draft. So it's almost June. So no pressure. Plenty of time.
We need some BRL people to come out of the BRL. You guys can't be in there for 15 years, guys. Come on.
What's funny is I was thinking about one of the guys.
You with the same people for years.
Well, that's the thing. Like I had the same wrestling. I moved Turner out last year, and I brought him into the CWL for an angle. But that's the thing. It's like I always think about, like, you can't have a dramatic return to a league if you never leave.
These guys are in there longer than Randy Orton's been in the WWE at this point.
That's right. Representing the AEW and Mike Vrabel's dating service. I can tell you, it's just so everyone knows, no one in the area cares about it anymore. So it's funny when stories like TMZ exclusive photo. Like, yeah, we don't care.
I was waiting for the sex tape. I want to check that out.
I was too. Although around here in Boston, yesterday we had a huge fire in the North End, down by Newbury, not North End. And then we had the shooting, the crazy dude with the machine gun.
I heard about that.
Which one of my coworkers was trying to get to her other job, and she got diverted, and she's like, I heard the pop, 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 and I didn't know what it was. Well, now you know. Like, in New York or here in Boston, like on the marathon bombing, I was supposed to be there, and my girlfriend at the time had a building. It was there's a marathon sports building or office or whatever. It's there. She's like right next to it. So we would have been right in the smack dab in the area.
So I was supposed to be there as well in the Adidas tent, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
I had quit that job before I was, but I was penciled in the.
I hate crowds, so that's why I didn't go. I was like, we had this huge fight the night before. I'm like, I don't want to go. I hate crowds. I hate being smothered and just packed in. We're gonna be in the sidewalks and be hot. And so because we didn't go, all of our friends didn't go, and one of my friends was actually across the street when the bomb went off in the stairs in the bleachers. One of my friends was actually the first group of runners. They stopped. She was in that group of runners because it wasn't right during the most exciting part, if you will. It was like later on in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a thing where like, you know, one wrong move and your life is different. But either way wise, this is bringing us around again. When it comes to holds, one wrong move and you go from a 498 to a 491. Well, almost, I guess. Close enough. I'm terrible. I actually we're gonna have a new segment in this show. The first, and it's called the Strategy Minute. It'll be towards the end of the show. So if you're relating for that, nails and pins and needles, don't worry about it.
He's going to give you the 501 for next cycle. That's what he did. So listen all the way to the end so to get your 501.
That's right. Guaranteed 501 in the May cycle. Wait a minute, you son of a. So we're also going to talk about the IWAR events, which all launched this cycle. So I got a whole bunch of scores to run down. Yikes. I got to write the Super Show, which, by the way, side note, as Greg brought up, if you guys want to write your match for the Super Show, phenomenal, awesome, great. Let me know. Keep it to like a half page or a full page, whatever you want to do. Make it good. Have fun with it. Yeah. So, hold on. I'm going to lose this sweatshirt because this is getting hot. It's getting hot in here.
Yeah, it's funny. Gary and Brian have like 9 matches to write. You got NWO pay-per-view this cycle also.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's see here. Just reading the notes here. Yeah, Gary. Yeah. So if you guys want to write the matches, and if you have interest in writing stuff for the shows or the reports, as always, just say the word. Moonbase, hello. Let us know who you manage. And Derek, DC, hello, Derek. RT was a lot of fun. It's funny because he had one of the better drafts on draft night last year because he drafted a lot of players who had a good ability to write and work off each other, and also going into the league storylines to work off of. So I'm gonna get my hair crazy here.
That's because I promote the RTO and the NWO report all the time.
Yeah. Oh, before we do Johnny B, let me do this too. I want to mention a special thanks. You can find it here. Here it is. The cover of this cycle, this issue, had Outlaw Ace and Eights, and he was in the Western Trails League, and he's one of those guys that I was always trying to like coerce and find a way to get into the BRL. But he up and retired, so he sent a message to me and just thanks about the cover and things like that. He mentioned Johnny B reached out to him, things were said. I always say, a lot of guys, myself included, will do massive promos, big full page promo, 2-page promo, whatever. And some guys can do a few lines or a paragraph and it still works. And it works really well. Sometimes less is more. And I would say once again, thank you, Cameron, for running Outlaw Ace and Eights. And I would highly suggest coming to the BRL. Create a new wrestler. Or, how cool would this be? Enter the IWAR draft. So thanks again to Cameron for that message. Cameron Risner, the manager of Outlaw Ace and Eights, who just entered the IWA Hall of Fame.
Congratulations.
And
Mazel tov.
Yeah. I know it's one of those things too where you're like, wait a minute, you came to the Hall of Fame, I put you in an event. Oh shit. That happens sometimes where you're like, oh man.
By the way, Matt, Moonbase was Glock Lesnar, my new favorite wrestler.
Oh, excellent.
The cover of the NWO report.
Yeah. Yeah, let me find it here. Hold on, I just pulled it up. No, that's not it. I lied. Let's see here. Trying to find the IWA report. Oh, man. My wonderful computer's a potato.
Leave the potato alone.
Yes. Let's see here. Where is he? What? Where did he go? I gotta find the old report. I'm trying to find the Outlaw Ace and Eights report info. There we go. archives, as they say here in Boston. The archives, kid. Um, why don't I see it? Where did it go?
So in the meantime, I was recently watching early 1986 WWF Championship Wrestling, and you
Yeah.
know what I noticed is the Iron Sheik will have the promo with Mean Gene, but he doesn't act like a heel in the entire promo
Yeah.
until right at the end. So he goes, Gene Mean, you an intelligent American, and he's like, and then Mean Gene says something that sets him off. It's like, man, fuck back Rotundo, and it's hilarious. But it made me think, it's like, what if they made the Iron Sheik a babyface circa 1986?
Oh,
Like he does the big
What if he
save
came
with
out-
he saves Hogan from somebody, and they do the like
Yep.
he's a baby becomes a babyface comedy character that hangs out with like Hillbilly Jim.
I will tell you,
been amazing.
When I was in a brief wrestling renaissance about 5 years ago, and this local guy was having me help his wrestling school. One of the guys there had a phenomenal gimmick, the Iranian rocker. But the idea was he was stuck in like the 80s, so all of his music was like Billy Joel. Like, no one hits the drums harder than Billy Joel. And he sounded like Triumph, the Insults comic, when he
Nice.
did it. So it's like, that would be hysterical as like an out of touch whatever dude. But oh well, I guess Iran's really kind of hot right now. So I just posted Outlaw Ace and Eight's win totals. His 3,585 wins, 50 stars, and $5 million. Which for those of you playing at home, when you get into the Hall of Fame, you only need to have either 1,000 wins, 50 stars, or $5 million. Any one by itself, pretty hard to get to, but all three very hard. So well done. And Cam, if you're listening, drop me a line again, or I'll reach out to you. Get you in the draft or get you in the BRL somehow, because my approach with the BRL always was to get like all these stars in there. And I was thinking, you said, Alex, earlier, getting some of the stars out of their home leagues and kind of shake things up. So we can think about that somehow and get that happening. All right. First star. You'll get that star. Don't you worry. All right. So I can close that one. Time for Johnny B trivia. You ready for this?
As always.
Uh-oh.
He's
Okay.
always mad at me. I know he's mad at me again. Do you
Is he
watch
kinda like
Malibu
the,
High for the love of God?
How mad is he? Is he Mr. Belding mad, or is he like the captain mad at you for wrecking the city with your police force?
It's more like a Mr. Belvedere. I'm not that mad. I'm just disappointed.
You goddamn wrecked the whole entire parade by driving through. I had to catch him. Sarge, I had to catch him. I'll have your badge. That's a foreshadowing, by the way, for Senior Lucha's next few months. All right, from Johnny B. And as always, if you have a question for the IWA or us, but mostly for Johnny B and the IWA, like about the game or about the history or about just things in general, like really bad movies.
Just don't ask him
let us
Boskers
know.
or briefs because he refuses to answer that question.
I told you he goes commando. So
Banana hammock.
let's all hang out. All right. What is the worst nightmare of moderately attractive women in their late 20s? Wait, what? This is how he starts off. What is the worst nightmare of moderately attractive women in their late 20s? If you answered, failing all their classes in high school, then just like Johnny B. Jr., you watched Alex's movie recommendations of Malibu High. All right, here we go. The star was getting an F-bomb in every subject, including history, physics, but tragically, she wasn't enrolled in acting class. Bereft of options such as actually studying, this moderately attractive woman in her late 20s was forced to become a teenage prostitute, sleeping with her instructor so they would give her A's. Cue Alex saying AIDS.
AIDS.
Was that the Fonzie?
Yeah.
Do the Fonzie thumb. AIDS. No, Fonzie, no. The writers limit her clientele to male/instructors, and if you'll pardon the expression, I feel they missed a trick. But just in case any viewers might struggle to keep in mind that she was supposed to be 18, they helpfully had her remind the audience every 10 or 15 minutes all through the duration of the film. As one of those mightily struggling viewers, I appreciated the assistance. Education clearly wasn't important to the star, but graduating high school was of absolute vital importance. Why? Because reasons. That's right, folks, reasons. My theory is she wanted to move on from her status as high school senior before her fellow students began referring to her as high school senior citizen. I mentioned acting class, and while everyone in this ultra-low budget movie had clearly never attended one, the star was truly a standout in that respect. Her performance was hilariously awful. Words simply cannot do it justice, so why cast the worst actor in the entire project by far in the lead role? Possibly because no one else was willing to get topless for 120 and ride the nearest bus station. The 70s. I can't say if her acting skills were ever any improvement because Malibu High was her one and only film credit. Oh boy. That's probably for the best. But what did become of her? That I also don't know. My internet searches were fruitless because she shares her name with a far more famous criminal defense attorney from the Menendez brothers trial.
Yes.
Oops. Which, by the way, ended in Alex's favorite legal outcome, a hung jury.
Hung jury.
Oh, boy. Another tertiary connection is that the music created for the film ended up being used as the theme song for the TV show, The People's Court. Dun, dun. Alex, do you have the music ready? No.
So I'm a big fan of Doug Llewellyn, and I want to bring him to the IWA somehow as a backstage interviewer. But that's one.
He could have him after the matches. Now, Glock Lesnar, you really didn't do a good job. You didn't get a star. How do you feel about that? And Glock just beats the shit out of him.
So, so I've ever told the story when I went to the People's Court.
No.
Yeah. So in high school, in my senior year, I was taking a criminal justice class, and since the People's Court apparently at the time was recorded in New York, we took a field trip into the city and we watched. We were in the audience for an episode of People's Court, but it was Judge Mills Lanes at that time. By the way,
was that when Rusty with the bailiff was dead?
I'm pretty sure.
I can tell you one of my earliest promos with Hot Stuff Adam Cash and Aleatari's father, Bodacious Brad Blaze. He had a People's Court thing where he brawled and he ended up body slamming Rusty the bailiff. The good old days. All right. Alex is correct that the trailer doesn't accurately reflect the movie's content, at least not its full content. Specifically, it makes no mention of the fact that in addition to murdering every one of her lines, the nearly menopausal student also begins murdering her clients. Whoops! It's puzzling that the studio would choose to omit such a major part of the story because I found that that later portion much more interesting than the multitude of clumsy, awkward, repetitive, rated PG-13 bedroom scenes shown earlier. Wikipedia noted that it had been sold along with another Grindhouse film entitled Trip with a Teacher, and I strongly suggested Alex offer a brief review on an upcoming episode. Since he and Matt will likely never go through the idea of reviewing terrible movies as a tag team, we should do that.
Yeah.
Trip with a Teacher involves a busload of children being kidnapped, and my assessment is that there were two brief scenes that were generally uncomfortable and disturbing, but the rest of the film was equal parts bizarre and hilarious. The music played a large part in shaping that opinion. So, yeah, I'm up for doing, random things.
So wait. So I don't know if Johnny B has discovered what I've discovered lately, and he's going to be even more angry with me. But have any of you guys actually watched any of the films on Tubi?
The terrible movies on Tubi?
Because they're insane. We're talking about the lowest of the low budget. Like, it's bananas. So I think I might go over there and start watching some movies and see what's going on.
If you find one of the ones I was in, you know it's bad. I was in a horror movie called End of Summer, and they had this whole extravagant harness scene where I'm running to my truck because I'm a farmer, and the monster's chasing me. I don't see him. You don't ever see the monster really. When I jump in the truck and the camera guy's like sitting inside the truck, as I go to get in, I suddenly get like grabbed and like I get whisked in the air, and like 6 guys ran down a hill, pulling me on a harness, and I go up in the air. I mean, this whole scene where I had like my stomach was falling out and I was on the tree, and I had to be up like 10 feet in the air, all this stuff. And when they did the final production, they cut the whole part where I get like gutted and everything. I was like, God, my God, we did so much work to get that scene. It was terrible, but fun. Anyway, speaking of terrible and fun, speaking of brief scenes, Matt asked me to watch the 1971 movie Bless the Beast and the Children, which had scarred him as an innocent youngster. Well, thanks, Matt. It scarred me as an adult, but for a different reason. It stars a group of teens and preteen boys for approximately 20% of the film. They answer Alex's eternal question of boxers or briefs
Yep.
without saying a word. So to recap, first I watched Alex pick featuring a high school student getting topless in roughly a third of her scenes, but she was pushing 30, Your Honor. Then I viewed Matt's recommendation, in which a group of legitimately underage boys frolic to and fro in their tidy whities. I forgot about that, by the way. This Tubecast back, it was the 70s, man. It was a different time. This Tubecast has almost certainly been responsible for old JB getting placed on the watch list. But I'd like to know why a young impressionable Matthew Bartholomew Riley, that's close enough. Had any business viewing a cinema classic work that's so clearly inappropriate for children. The movie reminded the 2025 Stephen King film, The Long Walk, which was, in my estimation, a slow-paced ripoff of Death Race 2000. Seriously, it's almost the exact same plot, but in excruciatingly slow motion. Because both Bless the Beast and Long Walk involve a group of young men walking along in a relatively desert road with frequent flashbacks revealing how each ended up on the said road. The scantily clad outcasts in Bless take up what is, at least in a naive way, a very noble cause, and there are things to like about the story and the performers. But I have to admit the children's attire, or rather lack thereof, in such a great number of scenes had me secretly wishing they had run away from summer camp and gone to a trip with teacher, and not filmed the second one like Malibu High. The music created for the movie enjoyed a second life as a theme song of a TV show that happened to be a soap opera hit my mother had been watching for decades. She never forced me to experience the 1978 animated film Watership Down, which Matt previously mentioned, an Easter-related joke. It contains both cute little bunnies and a shocking amount of graphic violence. It does. And I can't decide which of the two movie selections would be more upsetting to an average child. What is certain that Matt would never receive a single referral if he began working as a babysitter. I'll tell you a quick side note. My dad had a habit of, if he's watching a movie, we're watching a movie. I saw Slapshot when I was like 8 or 9. If you don't know Slapshot, it's a movie about a 70s minor league hockey team in like Pittsburgh or like a suburb in a steel town, and it's filthy. The language is filthy, and there's a scene where he's trying to trigger this goalie for the team, and he slept with the guy's wife, and she's bisexual. And for some reason, he skates by him. He starts screaming, "Lesbian, lesbian!" She's a lesbian. And as a kid, I would scream that sometimes, like, "She's a lesbian! She's a lesbian!" I had no idea what it meant, because that's how you do things. But yeah, I didn't realize there was that much tidy whitiness in the movie. I forgot. It's been so long that I've seen it. But I will say one quick side fact about that. For about a week and a half, I don't know if it's still there anymore, there was this little bug with the IMDb website. Did you know about this?
No, I didn't hear about that.
So if you went into, like, I looked up Bless the Beast and the Children, and if I typed in the word play dot in front of the address, it would play the movie. Every movie.
Really?
So they fixed it since, I think, because I've been trying to do it and they haven't done it since. But I started watching Bless the Beast and the Children, and I'm like, holy shit. So then I checked out Titanic. It worked. And I checked out Batman from 89,
Okay.
and it worked. So they must have had some kind of simple backdoor thing that got exposed, and now they took it down. But
yeah.
All right, so next part. Alex's siblings would make ideal business partners in that venture because Alex mentioned that they had made him sit through the 1982 horror film Pieces, oh my god, which had scarred him in his youth. He must have been very young indeed because I would place Pieces in the same level as Basket Case, both in terms of fear factor and production values. The latter was released the same year, and I reviewed it on episode 203. The two movies are strange and low budget to the point of being comical, but I suppose I could see a young child being frightened by a simulated gore, especially if they hadn't encountered a similar content before. The plot could have easily have served as the inspiration for the 1990s Frankenhooker, which I reviewed in episode 206 at Alex's behest. I need to know, does Johnny B have like a chart on the wall where he makes notes of all the movies he's like each
Definitely,
episode?
it's definitely. What's the Apple version of Excel? Was it Pages? Is that or Excel? Apple?
Maybe, yeah.
Numbers, whatever.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Right.
Apple shenanigans.
So that film was also incredibly weird and home video-esque, but all the aforementioned horror movies paled in comparison to the one I viewed the evening following Pieces. It was the 1989 Fright Fest, Elves, which Alex had added to my playlist. The quality of the camera gave the footage the feel of a cheaply produced Saturday morning live-action romp for children, and everything the credits to the music and the acting gave the impression of a small-town community theater production Done by people with no talent, no natural talent for filmmaking, no understanding of how much they would be embarrassing themselves and their children participating in the project, and no money for expenses. The extra film, so scenes could be shot in more than one take, or extra puppets so they could have more than one elf in a movie named Elves. Oh boy. The lead actress gave the moderately attractive high school student in her late 20s from Malibu a run for her money, run for her imaginary money. She also looked far too old for that role and had far too little ability to deliver the comment convincingly. Elves had a totally bizarre and ridiculous running funny movie, and probably the strangest aspect of it was the stars Dan Haggerty, who played TV's Grizzly Adams. Was he still working for the kids? Was he still working for what was considered minimum wage in the 1980s? Oh, 800, sorry. I love the scene where he and a group of Nazis, yes, Nazis, were having a shootout at a department store. Reminds me of the scene from the TV show Police Squad and Get Smart, because there were absolutely no element of danger whatsoever. He and the lead actress took cover behind a glass display case. Of all things, they carried a mundane conversation on while they usually popped up fire a few rounds. Oh my good lord. I would ask this of the guys listening, if you're not, asleep. What's a horror? Any movie really that scarred you as a kid? What was a movie? We always like to add that to our list of possible things to check out. Also on my playlist was a 1985 thriller, Fortress, and I didn't have to watch that one because it's one of my favorite movies. I have seen people online state that Wolf Creek is Australia's scariest film, but nothing of the note happens during the first half of the 140-minute slog. And what does end up happening is pretty silly and nonsensical. Fortress, on the other hand, has none of that. True, it contains a scene in which underage boys are swimming, but that doesn't constitute 20% of the film. They do so under the cover of darkness, and they're accompanied by a teacher. Oh, that's great. Played by the lovely British actress Rachel Ward. Oh, that's better. Fortress was loosely based on a real-life crime, and when the perpetrator was released from prison years later, he attempted the same thing again. Oh, boy. Should you decide to watch it yourself, and you should, be sure to view the one released in 1985, not the 1992 film with the same name, which is also filmed down under. Okay, our email is getting pretty long, so I'll just mention two quick non-IWA items. I got to chuckle from the fact Alex used Elizabeth Shue as the image of Luther Alexander's song Young Hearts after I suggested her picture for another song at a time. I couldn't believe that YouTube would demonize his channel, and on his birthday, no less. Poor Alex. Moving from movies to TV shows and to IWA-related questions, Alice asked last time, what's the lowest score you can get? So what's the lowest score in the IWA you can score, right? Johnny B says, my favorite TV show of all time is The Crystal Maze. Especially the first 4 seasons of the early 90s, contestants would occasionally be asked to solve word problems centered on math, or rather, maths with an S since it was a British show. 1 or 2 involved computing a sum of range of numbers, and I thought it was clever because I figured out a formula that would calculate the sum of 1 to X inclusive, but the stupid internet revealed that I had simply reinvented the wheel. Oh well, I admitted last time that I've never been a member of Mensa. To achieve the worst possible strategy total, a wrestler would have to use all the holds valued at 1 through 5 as their wear-down choices. 5 plus 1 is 6, and half of 5 is 2, and half. Multiply those as indicated by my apparently unoriginal formula, and you get 15. Since you are using the values of 1 through 5 twice, your wear-down holds will set up to 30 points. In other words, a single hold in the first 10 of the strategy of a champion-level competitor like the Grand Entertainer Brian Clothier would be worth the same amount as all 10 used by the jobber like Smart Alec von Snap. Oh. There are only 5 setup holds to consider. So the easiest way to determine the sum is brute force. Doubling 31 gives you 62, which is only 2 away from Commodore 64, and 32 times is actually is Commodore 64. So if you're up to what Matt mistakenly calls a VIC 128, hey now, don't forget to extract the 2 you added from the double 31. So you now have 126. Throw the final holds value 33 into the mix, and you arrive at 159 points from 5 setup holds. Add the 30 points in the wear-down holds, and you have a not-so-grand total of 189.
189, the lowest.
You also have an extremely long-winded and confusing answer to a very simple question. I just wanted to use any excuse to mention The Crystal Maze. It was an awesome game show. On the subject of player submissions, inquiring minds want to know, does the IWA still print every email as Johnny B confirmed in episode 208? Johnny B. Jr. says, on a trial basis, we begun supplying a substantial portion of submitted matches and strategy changes to our data entry team via tablet rather than printouts. They still have to enter the information in our air-gapped system manually, so it's still a appallingly archaic method. But there are several obvious benefits. It saves paper and toner, thus non-imaginary money. It allows them to zoom for easier reading, and best of all, it allows us to really stick it to Alex because they're using iPads. All right, in closing, with a note and a question, the previous episode was recorded on Friday. Whenever it had time to discover what was going down in the various IWAR leagues, in my opinion, that fact made a nice difference. Had the two main hosts considered asking their fellow players which night would be ideal for airing future Tubecasts? I think preference should be given to potential co-hosts such as Adam and Jimmy, since the more the merrier is true in this case, and saves Matt and Alex from having to read results for every single league, a daunting task, since there are now so many, just something to think about. So there you go. It's IWAR Q&A. And Alex, what do you feel about that, changing the day of the show?
It just depends. It's going to have to be depending on when I work extremely early in the morning.
Yeah.
So most days I have to be up at like 4:30. So on the days that I either go in later or the days,
it's not like just like get up to piss. Like you're actually getting up.
Starting to get up. Yeah.
Okay.
But on the days I work late or I'm off, that's the days we usually do Tubecasts. So like I work tomorrow, but I don't have to go in until 10:30. So
I work tomorrow. I have to be up at 6, but my girlfriend snores, so I'll be up all through the night. So Commando all the way. There you go. Let's see here. I'm just reading the written comments. All right, so now that we've got the Q&A out of the way, I would say let's say it's time for a league. What do you want to do first?
Let's start with the NWL. How about that?
Nice. Do it.
Okay.
Do it.
I gotta pull it up. Actually, I didn't actually pull it up. Okay. It's funny because I literally had it up all day. Okay. National Wrestling League, number 252. League champion, Crush Groove. TV champion, Bobby the Mangler Monroe. Central Plains champion, Andre Carrington. East Coast champion, Magnum AI. Great Lakes champion, Tommy Calloway. Mid-Atlantic champion, Glock Lesnar. Northeast champion, Mr. Fantabulous. Pacific Northwest champion, Devilish Danny Zero. Rocky Mountain champion, Styling Savion Banks. Southeast champion, Ryan Rivers. Southwest champion, Mac Truck Murphy. West Coast champion, Captain America, Johnny Drake. The League Tag Team Champions, Savion Banks and Cuss Groove. TV Tag Team Champions, Prince Pipafire and Mac Truck Murphy. The League Six-Man Champions, they win 5 free matches. Andre Carrington and Crush Groove. And and Savion Banks. I missed him. Sorry. TV Six-Man Champions, Ricky Wolf King, Mr. Fantabulous, and Mac Truck Murphy. And winning your Battle Royal is Crush Groove. So I'll see what's going down in the NWL. So let me share that. I want to share that. And I want to share that. Okay. And here we go. Here is the recap of the NWL.
Uh-oh.
This was retaliation.
Whoa. I don't want to do that. So, hold on. Fun part about going live.
No.
There we go. Maybe not.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Mooney. And what we witnessed this past cycle in the National Wrestling League was not business as usual. This was escalation. This was retaliation. And quite frankly, this was the opening salvo in what is quickly becoming an all-out war heading into homecoming. We take you to Philadelphia, the 2300 Arena, where Johnny Revolution stood in the center of the ring, declaring, without hesitation, that the National Wrestling League was finished. According to Revolution, NWL was already on life support, and he promised to be the one to pull the plug. But before he could finish that statement, everything changed. Ryan Rivers stormed the ring from behind and delivered a violent, calculated assault that left Johnny Revolution laid out. Not once, but twice, Rivers drove him into the canvas with that devastating cradle pile driver. The crowd erupted, and Rivers made his intentions crystal clear. If Johnny Revolution wants to destroy NWL, he will have to go through him. And then came the message that has everyone talking. Rivers didn't just call out Johnny Revolution, he called out the Yellow Scorpion. He issued the challenge for Homecoming. No running, no excuses, and in a chilling final statement, he promised to end him. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no longer about control. This is personal. Now we move to the NWL Grand Prix Championship, where Mark the Fan Botch was scheduled to defend against that same man, Ryan Rivers. But once again, the situation took a dramatic turn before the bell ever rang. The Yellow Scorpion struck. A blindside attack on the entrance ramp, with Johnny Revolution watching from a distance, made one thing abundantly clear. This was no coincidence. This was strategy. The Scorpion locked in the oxygen destroyer, a maneuver closely associated with Commissioner Luther Alexander, sending a message that may extend far beyond NWL itself. But in a moment that speaks volumes about the champion, Mark Botch intervened. Steel chair in hand, he drove off both the Scorpion and Revolution. And then, in a display of sportsmanship rarely seen under these circumstances, Botch offered Ryan Rivers the opportunity to postpone the match. Rivers refused. The match proceeded, and for much of it, Botch was firmly in control. Rivers was injured, compromised, and clearly struggling to stay in the fight, but somehow, some way, he endured. And then in a split-second moment, Rivers countered hooked Botch and delivered the cradle piledriver. 1, 2, 3. We have a new champion. Ryan Rivers, against all odds, is now the NWL Grand Prix champion. And in a show of respect, Mark Botch extended his hand acknowledging the victory. But make no mistake, the road ahead only becomes more dangerous from here, because waiting at Homecoming is Andre Carrington. And if you thought the tension ended there, think again. Moments later, the come-up, Savion Banks, Andre Carrington, and Crush Groove made their presence felt. And as we've come to expect, they did not hold back. They addressed multiple fronts, multiple leagues, and made it clear that they are positioning themselves not just as contenders, but as power brokers across the entire IWAR landscape. Carrington wasted no time dismissing Rivers' championship victory, calling it a fluke, and guaranteeing that at Homecoming he will leave with the Grand Prix championship one way or another. At the same time, warnings were issued to Maryland Militia, to Johnny Revolution, and to anyone else who believes they can operate without consequence. The come-up is watching, and they are preparing. Elsewhere, Prince Pimplefire spoke out backstage, disputing the circumstances surrounding his recent loss and calling for retribution. He issued a direct challenge to Johnny Revolution and the Death Pack, inviting them to step forward and settle the matter in the ring. And finally, we turn our attention to the NWL National Champion, the great entertainer, Brian Clothier. Clothier entered under heavy hostility from the crowd and claimed he had an apology for Crush Groove. But as we've seen time and time again, that apology was nothing more than a setup. Because what followed was a direct and unmistakable threat. Clothier dismissed Groove's style, his demeanor, and everything he represents, stating plainly that good vibes do not win championships, and they certainly do not survive pressure. At Homecoming, Clothier made it clear, he is not stepping into the ring to compete. He is stepping in to make an example. And with that, the stage is set. Ryan Rivers now stands as the Grand Prix champion, but with a target on his back from Johnny Revolution, the Yellow Scorpion, and Andre Carrington. The come-up continues to expand its influence. The Death Pack looms in the background, and Brian Clothier is prepared to defend his position at the top, by force if necessary. Homecoming is approaching, and if this past cycle told us anything, it's that the National Wrestling League is not fading away. It's preparing for battle. I'm Ian Mooney, and we'll see you next time. Now back to the Tubecast.
My God. And that was the NWL recap. So, guys, we do have the pay-per-view that will be using the result for this cycle, and we will have the write up for next cycle. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to be a really fun show. I think it's going to be. I've written about half of it so far, so waiting for some matches to come in for some of these guys, but then I have it all complete probably by the middle of next week, and it's going to be a fun show. So everyone, check that out. And again, if you're in the NWO and haven't got in contact with us yet, come in contact with us.
Yeah, I gotta say, I appreciate the guys that have been reaching out to us to drop a line, let us know who you wrestle,
Yep.
Your wrestler are, a little bit about your how you got in the game. So you want me to do RTL next?
Oh, sure.
Mostly because I just spent time prepping for it. The Rolling Thunder League, number 57. We have, spoiler alert, we have a triple crown here. The great entertainer, Brian Clouthier, already at 1,000 wins. Well done. He was league champion. He league tag champion along with Gary Morris, G-Force. And the trios champions, Brandon Baltimore Vagrant, Gary Morris, and Brian Clouthier. There you go. The Impact TV champion, Big Von Vader. Japan Impact, Timmy Two Cents. Mexico champion, Ozu. How would you say that?
Josue. Why are you asking me
Josue.
for?
I don't know.
Yeah.
There's no one else here.
Sure.
Yes. Juan Cena. Iceman. UK Impact champion. Rocky Mountains Impact champion. Dionysus. Great Lakes Impact champion. Whitefoot. 2 North Impact champion. Machina Gigante. Deep South Impact champion. Uncle Slow-Mo. Your West Coast Impact champion. Deacon Elroy. East Coast Impact champion. Ginsu. Willowwick Impact
Like
champion.
the knives?
Yes, Ginsu. Actually, if you notice that trio, it's Hanzo and Ginsu, like all the sword names.
Yes.
Lane Shaddix, your Impact TV Tag Champions, Makina Grande and Makina Mido, and your TV Impact Trios Champions, Eagle Eye Marksman, No Miss Gunner, and Makina Grande. And your Battle Royal winner, winning 25 free RTL matches, Big Von Vader. So that was a good cycle for that one there.
Yep.
All right, so what's going on, or what's going down?
What's going down?
Well, we talked earlier about like this roster being packed full of talent, really good. And I mentioned Greg's report is awesome. I always laugh because when I was stepping in temporarily and I handed him like, "Hey, do whatever you want with this," and he was like, "Oh yeah, watch this," and it's just awesome. Easy read, fun read, and well laid out. And every so often a player comes with an idea, and you're like, "Damn it, why didn't I think of that?" So we have one of those this cycle. So a couple of things. Your True Impact Heavyweight Champion is the headline, Papacito. The Blockbuster Champion is Heartthrob, Dan Corvette. Your Tag Champions are Prophets of Pain. And then your Tokyo Terror Commission is Onagi, Ginsu, and Hanzo. And then a little thing here is IWAR titles, your 501 Club, your IWAR titles. So Hydro, of course, won the Johnny B. Cup last time. So I wanted to do is on pages 14, there's an image gallery. Now, I've been working on this kind of thing with the BRL for I think 5 years now. I keep doing a little bit of work. But what I'm trying to do is put together something similar where it's like the wrestler and kind of like a snapshot of their stats. Yeah. But there's a lot of history in the BRL, so we're working on it. But I love this setup. It's very crisp, easy to read. And then you have like the staff, then you have the wrestlers. So that's really fun. Of course, can somebody buy random Baltimore Vagrant some nice duds? Come on now. Poor guy. We, of course, have the magazine cover. You have the Ring Report, kind of gets you in there. There's also a recap of previous cycles, trash talk, and how it's going on. I love the little symbols, kind of like, to go along with the trash talk, like, kind of setting the tone. And then there's the Thursday show. There's the Thunderdome. Now you have like all the, trash talk and write-ups, and it's just great. It's just a really good, easy read. And I do want to mention that, where is it? Here it is, towards the end here. Oh, first, on page 26, 7-minute abs made me laugh out loud. I love that.
That can't be
So much
7-minute
more-
abs. You go with 6-minute abs.
6'6", you get your heart rate up. And a fun fact, that guy Harlan, I can't his last name now, but Harlan, the comedian that did that role, he looked like my cousin for a while. So it was like, oh my god, my
He's
cousin.
also in Half Baked, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
Saw that in the movie theater. That old.
So this new thing, again, the ad for Spite for page 33, Papacito.
I love ads. You know me, I love ads. I've been doing ads forever. I love that concept. It's another way to do trash talk without actually writing anything.
I'm a slacker. I need to do that and do less. Well, I guess He-Man Hogan's porno pics are kind of advertising in some ways.
From here on out, I'm not calling it porno anymore. It's the porno. So we can be all classy with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I wanted to mention the introduction of a new thing. You have your next pay-per-view is Tropic Thunder, and that is going to be June 2nd. So a lot of us have pay-per-views on June 2nd. So that'll be a big cycle. The next cycle is a big cycle. So having said that, there is a thing that's been introduced. All right. So it's called Pandemic. So what you do is you have to claim in your trash talk that you want to fight this guy at the pay-per-view. And the way it works is, and the artwork in this is just, I mean, I know it's AI, but it's amazing. Really well done. Pandemic only fights on pay-per-views. You must make your challenge known before the Thunder Thursday, before the pay-per-view you are making a challenge for. Pandemic has a set score of 500. So it takes a 501 to defeat him or a 500 to survive with a draw. If you challenge and defeat Pandemic at a pay-per-view event, you'll earn an open contract for a True Impact Heavyweight Championship opportunity. You can sign any time before Final Impact. Resets annual. So it's a nice way to get players involved, and they have to really you got to nail it. You know, I mean, some of you guys are pulling 501s all the time now, so I'm really hating you. But I love this little twist. I do feel bad that Greggy Money is wearing a Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, but that's okay.
I'm a Winnipeg Jet man myself, so.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, again, it's the trash talks in here. I won't go through all of it. I skimmed it, but there's so much good stuff in here. It's a fun report. It's gonna be this next draft. They're gonna really add some more people to it. It's gonna be really fun to see what happens. All right. Having said all that, that is the RTL. Over to you.
All right, I dig that. So let's see. Where do I want to go? Let's go WTL. How about that?
WTL, sure.
All right, WTL 127 Western Frontier Champion Steel, Lone Star Champion Garrett Washington Algany. Okay.
Yep.
The Pale Rider is the Central Plains Champion. Mexico Champion Balls Buckshot. Dodge City Champion Nat J. Love. Tombstone Champion Mid-South Maxwell. Prairie View Champion Arkansas Dave Rudabaugh. Widowmaker Champion The Outlaw Josie Wells. Badlands Champion Marshall Law. Cripple Creek Champion Sean Brutal. Southwest Champion Marshall Reeves. Chisholm Trail Champion Dr. Payne. Western Frontier Tag Team Champion Meat Hook and Mongrel, the Disembowelers. Lone Star Tag Team Champions, the Wyoming Cowboy and Chef Top Gun. Western Frontier Six-Man Champion Prince George Montgomery, Garrett Washington Allegheny, and Frederick Charles Hartford. Lone Star Six-Man Champions Cowboy Johnny Gaines, the Wyoming Cowboy, and the Chef Top Gun. And your Bunkhouse Brawl winner is Garrett Washington Allegheny. So what's going down? Whatever. And what's going down in the WTL? So looks like the next pay-per-view will be America's Most Wanted. You have the Western Trails Heavyweight Title match. Ravishing Rex Chambers versus Mange. You have a number one contenders match of Jurassic Machine taking on Steel. Texas Tornado tag titles. Meat Hook and Mongrel versus the Young Guns. Texas Tornado 6-man title match, the 5012 Yuma match, the Maryland Blue Bloods taking on the Buckshots, taking on Special Forces, taking on the Nutty Bunnies. And they have a posse battle finals, and then we have from the winner from the IWAR Super Show chooses a stipulation. We have Ricky Spanish taking on Cowboy Shits, and then we have the 6-shooter title defense on top of that. So that's what's coming up in the WTL. Again, great job, everyone, I felt, with the trash talks. We see our good friend Ricky Spanish. We have the Buckshot Boys. I did see the come up. The come up is randomly in the WTL. Probably
Oh my God.
Getting at some people over there. You know how that goes. But again, great job overall, guys. Keep up the great work. Again, you have the IWAR champion, Ravishing Rex Chambers, who I'm actively trying to avoid. And that's the WTL as a nutshell. So, Matt, where do you want to go next?
Well, let's see here. Should we go for ACW?
Sure.
All right. So, pop this up here. This is cycle number 24. And this cycle, the league earned $25 towards the activity pool for all the championship matches at the pay-per-view. So, the more matches, the bigger the prize. ACW League Champion, the Gaelic, Dick Moore.
Unbelievable.
American Territories Champion, Shrug Shadow. New England Champion, Steel Sampson. Atlantic Coast Champion, He-Man Hoven. Great Lakes Champion, Keanu Thunder. Smoky Mountain Champion, Ravishing Dick Dude. Deep South Champion, Brody Bushmaster Jones. Gulf Coast Champion, Senor Lucha. Texas Heartland Champion, Bo Brady. Rocky Mountain Champion, Hocus Crocus. Desert States Champion, Grandmaster Shisho Yamamoto. And Pacific Coast Champion, Jackknife Justice. Your tag champions, Mud and Spud Mud. Your American Territories tag team champions, for a second time, Luther Alexander and Senya Lucha.
The Mega Powers. God damn it.
That's right. Ooh, yeah. Your league 6-man champions, Jawbo and Jack, Tormented Timmy, and Steel Sampson. And your American Territory 6-man champions, Master of the Night, Deuce Forsyth, Creeper Cortez, and Grandmaster Shisho Yamamoto. There you go.
All right, what's going down in the ACW?
Well, let's jump down here. We got Sheriff Buford T. Justice as the commissioner.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. There's the Justice Squad, and it's his son, Magnum PI, and I believe it's Lenny from Law and Order, Lenny Briscoe. So right now, the prize pool for the next pay-per-view event is sitting at, $83. That'll be split between the various champions. It's pretty cool. The Triple Crown prize out there, don't forget that if you win the league, pull the Brian Clothier, you'll get your matches out of that. 153 matches right now. Let's see here. We go through the champions and the rest of the year race. So, things are going pretty well there. Great American Bash is June 21st. So, knowing Ryan, that means the match results are from that second June cycle. So, you have time to get ready for it, but it'll be here before you know it.
I need a win on this one, too. God damn it.
Well, we got the championship match, Shrug Shadow versus Brad the Executioner Hart. We have Hocus Crocus defending the U.S. title against Luther Alexander and Heeman Hogan. Your tag title match is the Har Foundation versus AJ Singh and Ben Perez. Your heavyweight trios match, you get Jack, Timmy, and Steel Sampson against Eddie Chavez, Tito Sonata, and Ken Neidhart. So Ken pulling double duty. Har Foundation all over the place.
Yeah.
And right now we have a lot of guys in contention. Remember, if you win I think it's the TV and Battle Royal gets you in two different of those. The heavyweight or U.S. But yeah, look at that, man. Chance to have a title shot.
Yeah.
Itching. I don't know why I thought Great American Bash was later in the year, because I have an angle with Senor Lucha, which I'll talk about now, because Senor Lucha has done something unusual. He's challenged the Shadow Syndicate to a Survivor Series match
This guy's wear
at
bunny
Devil's
suits.
Playground. Yeah. And it's one of those things where he's going to put together a team
Oh.
to take them on. So who will he have that team on? You have to wait and find out. But we have a nice long promo from Dick Moore. And there's just a lot going on here. I'm going to run through this real quick. But you can see Senor Lucha's new ring gear, if it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
He-Man Hoban, controversy again, as He-Man Hoban has apologized for skipping a previous promo. And he reveals what he was doing instead. And it was one of those things where, AI is pretty good at things, but sometimes you look. So I'm noticing the women, this is page 25, they're around him. Some have extra fingers, which is the 6-finger lady in the front. And she needs the extra fingers to take care of all the manhood. And then the other lady on the right is missing a couple of fingers. And then He-Man Hoban, his fingers are folded. And he has like a random loose thumb on top resting. That's like when Netanyahu, they thought he was dead.
Yeah.
And they were doing like the various spoof. And one of my favorite was Netanyahu was doing a conference. And he's talking and he puts his hands up and he had feet where his hands were. Got me. It's like, all right. U.S. Mail, this is a pivotal angle here. U.S. Mail has come out and basically accused the Mudd family of not being good parents to Bud Mudd, the youngest Mudd. So he wants to take legal ownership of Bud Mudd and do a better job raising him than they do. So we'll see what happens there. Ernie Slayer, of course, cutting his promos. I don't know who runs Ernie Slayer, but we got Knuckles Nelson with his Gaelic jokes. He's in a brutal feud with Dick Moore. So, and of course, Shrug Shadow, being a pain in the ass, but he'll probably beat Bret Hart. He's that good. Heart Association. We got the Luther magazine. Let's see what the headlines are. Experts agree He-Man Hoban is a 2-pump chump. As I would just say, Hoban would say, "What do I care how many pumps it is? I got what I need." Interview with Gary Busey.
There's actually an interview with Gary Busey in here, though.
Luther in trouble with the ASPCA for threatening frogs. Yeah, and you're trying to get Luther on the ballot, right? In Willowick.
Yeah, so I'm actually it's going to be for Eastlake because they have a city council spot open that I've been trying to get him on the ballot for. See if that works. I'm trying to get a street team. So if Johnny B's driving around and he says vote for Luther signs, I apologize.
Nice. Just get a giant bill. Spend the money on a billboard for like one day. I do enjoy Dick Moore on the toilet looking at it looks like if somebody told what's his face, Sheamus, to get out the juice.
These are supposed to be inflammatory. That's the gag there. That's the joke.
Yep.
Just like there's another competing magazine that it's all slanders right underneath that one. It's all slander. It's all fabricated and lies. It's unbelievable. It's not an accredited newspaper anyway. So
I will say now that I see that there's an appearance from the Mudd family by Mama Mudd holding a pig, I might have my next promo together for Hoban. And of course, the Nightmare Cartel, which is Deuce Bigelow and Bad Breath Yamamoto. He's always breathing Purple Smith, and something's wrong. That guy needs some medicine. But talking out, and I will say, one thing I noticed is that this is like Tim Clark did this a lot. He would just kind of throw like a same kind of blanket challenge and wait for someone to respond.
Yeah.
And I always find you're better off just going and demolishing somebody creatively. Like in the BRL last cycle, after Jim Spur got his butt whooped by Brian Welch, he did a promo where he was like, I'm going to beat somebody up. And then like he walks off and they're like, who's he going to beat up? And the next page was Jim Spur beating the crap out of Plebe McFerrari. Now Plebe McFerrari's come back and be like, I'll fight you at Magic Bash. And you're like, they're going to get it on now. That's good. That's great. So, being creative with Sneak Attack, if you're really having fun with it, like when we get to CWL, I'll talk about Barry Stevens' thing. But it can be a fun little way to like, it's
casting a wide net too. So like you're really kind of zoning in on a person, and if you know that person does respond to stuff, you're gonna, those are the people that you want to go after. Like you kind of like, and it happens every once in a while. You see it every once in a while in the NWL, and you might have seen some other leagues that, like you have dudes calling out dudes that like they've never trash talked and they never will, and then like it's kind of disappointing when you're like, oh, it's like I challenged this guy, he didn't say anything. Like, what's his problem?
How he's a dude dressed up as a dude playing another dude. So that's the HCW for you for May of 2026.
All right, fantastic. I, in fact, do dig that.
Who are you gonna go? You want to go BBL next?
Yeah, I'll go BBL. Brazilian Butt Lift League, number 585. League champion War Pig, TV champion Direwolf, Central Plains champion Hot Rod McNally, East Coast champion Borg Genesis, Great Lakes champion Alpha Hotel, Mid-Atlantic champion Psycho Bolts, Northeast champion the Alpha Brock Dawson, Pacific Northwest champion Tusk the Warrior, Rocky Mountain champion. So is that corporal punishment, right? Not capital punishment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying. Southeast champion Nick Rage, Southwest champion Golden Panther, West Coast champion the Russian Reaper. League tag team champions, they win another 5 free matches, or win a 5 free matches. Warlord Pain and Warlord Agony. TV tag team champion Nick Rage and Blake Bloom. League 6-man champions, and they win 5 free matches. Nick Rage, Blake Bloom, and the Phantom Scorpion. TV 6-man champion Scarlet Knight, Scarab Knight, and Blood Knight. And your Battle Royal winner, winning 31 free BBL matches, Tusk the Warrior. What's going down in the BBL? So the next event would be what? Let's take a look. That is nope. Highway to Hell. Next one, summer 2026.
Yes.
We have in a hardcore champion. We have Skullfire versus Direwolf. We have the Mass Matriarch and Junkyard Jenny. Hounds of Hell match. Hounds of Hell championship. I'm sorry. Dominant Factor War and Wrath taking on Mr. Smith and Pork Rind. Cherry Summers and Becky Hall versus Kapua and Maka. Jadoria championship. We have Nick Rage, Blake Bloom, and Phantom Scorpion taking on to be announced, I think. Or is that a PPA is a thing, I'm assuming, right?
Pig Protection Agency.
Pig Protection Agency. Got it.
The Pig Protection Agency. Yeah.
Fantastic. And then we have Bailey Buckshot, Ern Dongstrong, and Junkyard Jenny versus Koopa, Maka, and Kolohi. And then we have the 5 Rings of Hell, RFD versus Burn. So there'll be other matches to be announced shortly. So again, overall, great job with the TT. BBL is such an interesting league, just because the implied and sometimes actual violence. So
yes,
it's fantastic. All right, Matt, where do you want to go next?
I'll bang out the BRL.
BRL.
All right, so number 653. Our league champion earning $25 in IWA credit. Super Stud, John Bowden. Your Battle Royal winner also winning $25 in IWA credit. Hollywood DVS. Your TV champion, Genchiro Teriyaki. Your Central Plains champion, Steve Whiskey. East Coast champion, Inkan. Your Great Lakes champion, Agent 26. Mid-Atlantic champion, Tsuyoshi Mizoku. Northeast champion, Gabriel Graves. Pacific Northwest champion, Ripper Heyman. Your Rocky Mountain champion, the Playboy, Mick Ferrari. Southeast, Shakespeare William. Oh, so I didn't realize Southwest, Cowboy Jim Spur. Look at that.
Whoa.
West Coast, Fab Dazzle.
What'd you call me?
I know, right? Your tag champions, Bat Whiskey and Jim Whiskey. Your TV tag champions, Alex and Axel Von Snop. Your six-man champions, the Dark Verdict, Vex Verley, Gabriel Graves, and Nocturnal Death. Your TV six-man champions, the Heymans, Ripper, Bruiser, and Buster. So, I will say a little something about I realized that the Four Corners of Chaos title match, if you will, or qualifier match, is a fun gimmick, but I really blew the getting people involved in it match process. So I might just audible and do something fun. I'll figure out who should be the title champion, go off scores and all that stuff, but whoops, no, we tried. Let's see, anybody new in the league? Well, I will say, back active again, it's the Virus guys. I don't know if that's Frank Belcher, so if Frank, that's you, and welcome.
Welcome back.
But let me see here. There's another guy. I don't know if it's Steve Dean. I always forget which guy it was, but it's another Virus guy. So, let's see. No, I think that's it. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Jammin' Jamie Andrews
Jammin'.
and Kensuke Tanaka are both new. Have no stable affiliation. As is Stable King and Hard Hitting Harry. And Lights Out Jason Walker. So somebody came in and might be Michael Eaves. So we'll see. All right. Anyways, getting back. Moneyman driven. Mike Sebastian. You missed it. All right. It's like three guys who are like, hey, the deadline's this. And they're like, all right, gotcha. All right, deadline's this. They're like, I gotcha. They missed the deadline. Damn it. Well, that's okay.
Do you think the IWA should post the deadlines, like for our digital friends or our green friends, to get their emails in? You think they should post that for every league? Like, hey, listen, on the 12th, that's when we need X, Y, or Z.
Right.
Just a thought.
Hey, let's see here. BRL, 140 cards, so we're getting back to normal, but let's see. Battle Royal. I said TBS. I was not close at all. I was terrible. Of course, we have the Tuesday Night Grand Slam written and produced by Jimmy Jensen, as always. There's a lot of fun live reaction, if you will, quote unquote, from the wrestling community. So always check that out. And let's see here. Of course, we have the lineup for Imagibash 26 shaping up. Not set in stone because we actually have. Okay, hold on. I think I actually. So this is 653. So next cycle is the title starts. Okay, good. Whew. I'm okay. The Joe Tusa Challenge is still going on. And of course, what's Joe Tusa Challenge? So we have said if you team up with Joe Tusa and win the tag belts or the trios belts, you're going to win some free matches that you split between yourself and Joe. And right now, those totals before this cycle set at 23 for tag and 24 for trio. And I have not actually done this cycle's numbers yet, but it's fun. It's a fun little like extra bonus activity-wise. Let's see here. BRL Trash Talk. I looked over this earlier because I was like, I'll take the time to get a good look at this because it does make a difference. And like Johnny B said, it's good to have the guys in here if they can be here.
Or like I could actually take their little recaps and throw them in the AI thing, like I do for the NWL.
Yeah, you do that too. I'll just say for the pay-per-view. No, it's not going to show. There we go. Okay. Our global title match, of course, super sexy Shane Dowell's taking on Hot Stuff Adam Cash. The global title, the Diabolical Kingdom, is defending against the McFlaherty brothers and the alpha males. I'm sorry, the Polar Circle. The wrong one there. Update that. Whoops. The Polar Circle defending against the Regulators. So it should be a really
Boo.
ugly match. Boo the Regulators. Um,
They win
there's more matches
everything
coming
all
up.
the time.
Yeah. And we got like a lumberjack match because you have this tension between stablemates, and it's it's American Destroyer versus Hillbilly Kevin. We've got Brutal Brian Welch against 8026, one of those like long-term veteran guys going together head to head. And of course, Monster Tanaka versus Hollywood DVS versus Bowman Bolt. Lots of bitterness. Shakespeare Williams is going to be taking on Big Guns Greg Garner. So you have all kinds of excitement there. Holy moly. Remember I talked about some of the fonts don't come out right?
Yeah.
The fonts for the Dark Verdict just got butchered here. Wow. I'll have to clean that up. Sorry, fellas. Going on in and around the BRL, we have really the Blood Money reunion where Adam Cash and Fatty the Butcher back together. But of course, Adam's talking about defending the global title against a great like Shane Dowell. Bowman Bolt is still getting called up by Monster Tanaka, although Bowman Bolt is now like, hey man, I don't have that kind of money. Jim Spur talks about his favorite sissy boy, McFerrari. Devon Schnapp's talking about, you know, they're targeting the global tag belt, so we'll see if they actually get it or not. I had mentioned this to the guys off board in the commissioner's chat room and said about the idea of setting up a format similar to Clash Champions for the tag and trios champions from the various IWAR leagues. So that could be happening. So it will make the commissioner's belts that much more valuable, because you'll have a chance to win the world championships. Let's see here. Boink, of course, comes out. Boink, the former evil clown, is now a good clown, messing with people. Basically helping Dapper Dan D out. And then the Armors Brothers are here, and they're talking about the Bunch Knobs and other tag teams and how they're ready to cement their legacy. They kind of were hot and cold in the IWL, but they've been quiet so far in the BRL, but they're ready to snap. McFlaherty Brothers talking about the Regulators, so they're arch rivals, and talking about taking on Diabolical Kingdom. Uncle McAllister's back, and of course, I don't know if that is on purpose or not, but the Regulators promo is right after the McFlaherty. And Ryan sent me this early, and Blackjack Robertson's been hurt, so it was a whole promo thing where he's had a bad leg or whatever, and they had a missing poster, and he was waiting for a picture of McAllister to use and didn't get it, so instead he used a stick drawing. So that's pretty fun. Last scene exiting local children's museum. There you go. King Khan, of course, talks about being undefeated as North American champion, facing Boink and Vic Vropta, so that's gonna be a big tough match for that. Vic Vropta's back with his long promos. I always feel like his style is like this. It's like the way he writes is like sentence, so it goes down the page. Like if you just put them all in one paragraph, it'd be like a paragraph long. But sending the message, he's gonna go for that North American Championship and defeat King Khan. Dynasty comes out and says the family sticks together for life. Shakespeare Williams agrees to face Greg Garner. Diabolical Kingdom with a nice promo where they come out and basically trash talk, blood money, and things get physical. And then of course the McFlaherty's run down, and that's a whole brouhaha. But intensity there. See what else quickly. McFerrari answers Jim Spur's challenge, agrees to face him. We get a really big conversation between Suburban Hell Savages and Dark Verdict, who, don't forget, they're going to face off for the right to face the champions for the global trios. So lots of heat there. Shane Dowell and John Bowden kind of promos talking about superstars being superstars and kind of regaining a step, but they've been really good this year. So BRL wise, no losing steps there. Brian Welch calls out Agent 26 as his challenge, so good to see that. And a newcomer named 10-Gallon Pat, and it's a muscular dude, looks like Billy Jack Haynes with a big gigantic cowboy hat, and he's got a bounty to go after Space Wisp. you know who you are. Big Guns, Greg Gunner coming out, talking it up. He's answering Chase Williams' challenge, and Greg Gunner will work pretty much everybody. It's just answer the call, he'll show up. American Destroyer talks about facing Hillbilly Kevin and Magic Bash and really kind of like settling that score. And River, the Ferryman Foggs, he's kind of calling out Vic Ropta. He's we have a lot of supernatural guys around here. And Bowman Bolt complains about not having the money. Doesn't think Tanaka should be messing with him. Frando Warp Slayer. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's see here. He has a formal request to be in the Four Corners match, so that's cool. And then we get the hold. So there you go. BRL in a nutshell. Bang.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Oh, also, my wife also thinks I'm an idiot for doing the IWA. Actually, my wife thinks I'm an idiot for doing most things that I do, so I guess that's all right. But yeah, she just kind of rolls her eyes and just walks away from it anytime I start talking about it. So, and then we had a question.
Yes.
It's a question for you mostly because I wouldn't know the answer to this question. When I tried to play the IWA when I was 11, there was a stable called NVUS. What happened to them? I bombed, by the way, as an 11-year-old.
I would say I'd have to know when you were 11, what time of the I was out of the game from 2006, 2010, and like 97 to 2005. So I was I don't know when you were 11, but a lot of stables come and go. I mean, you have the guys like SOS or Edge or Virus that are kind of like they're around forever. I don't know. I just noticed he said too that his wife is fighting the BWL. Who's your wife run in the BWL? Is that Sarah Money? And then New Money guys, yeah. CWL. Who you have in CWL? I had to get caught up on these things.
Don't you have a match list of what manager who has what?
Who runs it says New Money. He has New Money Incorporated guys are mine in RTL, CWL, and I have my wife fighting in BWL. So curious. I will say I always laugh because Caleb be like, "Oh, how'd you do with the results?" And it's like today I told her today I was like, "Oh, yeah, I had some things I had the right idea and other things I did well, but like a lot of guys scored high, so even if I did well, it wasn't like, woohoo!" Right. Shizen take over. So it's fun. A good question for the crowd here: do you share your victories with your wife or girlfriend or whoever? And if so, do they appreciate you? They're like, "Good job, hon." All right, so that was what's next now?
I get this vision of them like in bed, like, man, that son of this and Luther Alexander did some shit this cycle.
Yeah.
And the wife being,
Do you remember question? Do you remember in '94 what the league name was? I might be able to find out. If anyone knows NVUS, I'll try to find out.
Is that
do you want to do
proponents
BWL,
of the Casting Couch League?
Yeah. Do you want to do let's see, BWL, CWL, or IWL?
I'll do CWL.
All right.
Me. Continental Wrestling League, 355. League champion, then a Nye. TV champion, Duff Dugan. United States champion, Late Night, Logan Kane. Yukon champion, Mean Mr. Fist. Caribbean champion, the author of Agony, LePage Turner. Amazon Basin champion, Blitzkrieg. British Isles champion, Axel Von Schnapp. Arabian champion, Trucker Van Leer. South African champion, Picasso. Siberian champion, Uncle Sam. East Asian champion, Titus Council. Oceanic champion, Hypnotic. League tag team champion, Axel and Alex Von Schnapp. TV tag team champions, Adrian Vale and Julian Cross. League six-man champion, Axel Von Schnapp, Alex Von Schnapp, and Alex Von Schnapp. TV six-man champion, the Major, Benny Factor, Nature Boy, Phil Landers, and the Genuine Artie Fischel. And your Battle Royal winner, winning 25 free CWL matches, Late Night Logan Kane. So, first thing I tell everyone, make sure that you check out the bulletin and what they call, I guess now, Inside Heat. It's a great recap. Jeremy does the best league recaps, probably in the game, I gotta be honest. But his report's looking real slick, buddy.
Yeah.
I like to see it, man. It's good stuff. Good stuff. What's their next event, though? Let's see. Oh, I love these ads. Love ads.
Yes, the ads are awesome.
Oh, fucking great. So the next pay-per-view will be New Beginnings. We have Nature Boy Phil Landers taking on Hypnotic for the CWO World Title. Internet title match. Scapegoat versus Hardin Long. Six-man title match. New Covenant, the champions, taking on the Von Schnaps. Tag team title match. Millennial Reign taking on the Cowboy Killers. Flag match, American Patriot taking on Arnai Shiesty. Triple Threat champion, Picasso taking on the Overtaker, taking on Zodiac Horoscope. LePage Turner taking on Logan Kane. Number one contenders match. Reborn Jonathan Davis taking on the Reprobate Lanny Teague. Number one contender match to the CWO Internet title. Trucker Van Leer versus Picasso. And then we have Happy Meal versus Barry USA Stevens. And me and Mr. Fist taking on Mark the Fan Botch. So again, fantastic job over at the CWL. Keep up the great work. And that's all I have here. So Matt, where do you want to go?
Oh my God. Well, let's see here. I can go BWL. BWL, Black Widow League number 70. Your Black Widow champion, Sensational, Sydney Renard. Your TV champion, Enchantress. Your Japan Idol champion, Huntress. Josie champion, Bandita. Zenjo champion, Mother D. Luchadores champion, the Queen, Gina Colada. Cholitas champion, Rachel Van Dorn. Bellatrix champion, my new favorite wrestler name, She Squatch, Jessica Reese. The She Squatch. I
Like a Sasquatch, but a girl? Like a girl
I think that was one of
Bigfoot?
the most brutal name. Somebody called a girl in my high school the Yeti, and she was just massive. And that was not even the worst. The worst nickname was the Organism because she was kind of messed up looking, and they were like, "She's the Organism. She's alive. You don't know what it is." Like, fucking kids, man. Themyscira champion Rachel Yamazaki, Hollywood champion Aria Gunpowder, Sin City champion Brenda Bring the Pain, Willow champion Priceless Sarah B. Money, run by the wife. There you go, bud. Battle Royal winner Gina Colada, which was weird because I just thought to myself, she's been in the BWL for like years now and only won one Battle Royal. That's weird. Yep, there she goes.
There it is.
Black Widow Tag Champions win another 5 free matches. Crazy Jenna Star and Sensational Sydney Renard. TV Tag Champions, the Queen, Gina Colada, and Bandita, who are also partners in the Lethal Lottery. Ta-da! Black Widow Section Champions winning another 5 free matches. Rachel Yamazaki, Rachel Van Dorn, and not Rachel, Crazy Jenny Star. TV 6-man champions, 6-woman champions. Bandita, Enchantress, Vampirella. So there you go. That's what's happening as the title page goes. Lethal Lottery is underway. And we actually, I think I have, pull it up here. Yeah, Patrick sent the results of the first round. So in round 1, Enchantress and Sydney Renard defeated Regina Yamazaki and Jenny Star. Sarah B. Money and Aria Gunpowder were defeated by Gina Colada and Bandita. Mother D and Vampirella defeated Fallon Donovan and Vera Vaughn. Farouk Assault and Rachel Van Dorn were defeated by Brenda Payne and Huntress. So there you go. And this tournament, don't forget, it goes to the final, and then the final 2, the winner tag title shot, and then they face off, and the winner gets a league, like a IWAR Women's Championship match. So that's pretty dope. Pretty dope. Other stuff going on in the BWL. Let's see here. Get to the pay-per-view. I like the stats in here too. You can see like all the league champions, kind of a neat thing to see. The next pay-per-view where the boys aren't 5, 71. So that's coming right up. Yeah, coming right up. And let me see. So we have, well, let's see. We got Arya versus Brenda Bring to Pain. So the first annual Kimberly Cup winner was Brenda Bring to Pain. So that's a title shot there. You got Arya Gunpowder versus Crazy Jenna Star for the Wildfire Memorial title match. We have a triple threat match with Enchantress, Brenda Bring to Pain, and Brooke Assault. And global title match, Bandita versus Rich Yamazaki. So lots going on. Rachel Van Dorn, Arya Gunpowder defend against Sydney Renard and Jenny Starr. So that's the 2 hottest tag teams facing off. That'll be interesting. Mother D versus Brenda Bring to Pain. Oh, I'm sorry. I misread it. It's based on next cycle's results, so no pressure. So forget all that. You'll get to it later. Let me see here. I haven't looked at the promos yet, but there's a lot going on. I will say Queen Gina Colada, last cycle, kind of overstepped her bounds. Barging in on a promo with Vampirella to talk about getting hate mail and letters, and then kicking Vampirella in the crotch. Not her best sign. So this time through, Enchantress is doing a promo, and she comes in to read an angry letter from a fan saying that it was whatever, bad decision, big mouth, messing with Vampirella, and then it was from Mother D. So Mother D was upset with Gina. So, it's all going well. It's going well. She Squatch promo. Lady of the Hour, the Tower of Power, Jessica Reese. Good, just a fun little promo. Bang, right there. Vampirella on page 27. A little softcore porn. There you go. Nothing. Porno.
Porno, yes, that's correct.
Porno. Rachel Van Dorn, as always, with the awesome promo. This time she's shopping for grandma. Yeah. So, oh man. Brooke Assault. The league's loaded with talent, but I'd love to see. We're getting kind of more players now. A She Squatch, Vampirella. Enchantress is new. She's kind of established now. We've got Fallon Donovan. So we've been slowly building up, which is good. But we want to get even more players in there. So, and now of course you can spend what you want. So, fun time. So there's the BWL for you. So, I guess we're just down to the IWL. So that's all you.
Before we go there, we got a question in regards to trash talk.
Yes.
The question is, I cannot write a match or a trash talk, even though something doesn't officially happen. You make things officially happen. So the best thing about trash talk, especially in the NWL, just about everyone else, is I have to go off what you wrote. Whatever you wrote is canon. Now, I always make sure to have people understand you want to do anything that's completely out of character. You don't want to murder somebody. Oh yeah, when I fight him in the pay-per-view, but first I'm going to chop his head off. Don't do that. Keep the stuff that you would see on actual wrestling television. But if there's a sneak attack or whatever, it's our job as the other player, and this is where the competitive aspect of it, kind of like battle rapping, right? So now I have to come back to you about something. You know what I mean? So yes, you can attack someone in the ring, you can beat someone up, yada yada yada. You can talk trash about whoever you want to talk trash about. Like the big motto in the NWL is do what you want to do. Just make sure it's good. That's it.
Yeah, I always feel that when it comes to you mentioned earlier, not doing too broad a net. Be more accurate. And I think if you can either dangle something someone else wants, like Bowman Bolt with 100 free matches, and then yanking it back, or going after something somebody else has. U.S. Mail is basically threatening to kidnap the youngest brother of the group of Mud family. Set up,
take him over to an island and everything. It's weird,
right?
Yeah.
Call it a champion. I know there was a player a long time ago who used to always be like, "I'm challenging you," and whoever the champion was the cycle before, "I'm challenging you to a title match." It's that's how it works, dude. But it was always fun to read. So I would say just, trash talk, have fun with it. Keep in mind, though, some guys will do is they'll go after the guys who are like in the biggest feuds. And we had one player in particular who would do this all the time. And he'd be like, "Oh, I want to have my guy like after the match attack both guys with a baseball bat, leave them laying,
Barbed wire
and,
baseball
like,
bats. Be clear.
Yeah, sorry, right, barbed, yeah, and leave them laying, and I'm standing tall with my bat held high." And like you do that once, and the guy would then go inactive 2 seconds later, and you do it twice, and it's like, come on, man. Like, so I just said, don't over like if you destroy the guy, make it like an insulting type of beatdown. If you want some inspiration for insults, like He-Man Hogan's really just obnoxious. LePage Turner is really mean.
You know what I always say? Like, hey, listen, you're looking for inspiration or ideas. What do? You watch more wrestling.
Yep.
And then if you want to really narrow it down, like just if you're like, man, I really need an idea, just go watch Memphis wrestling.
I would say you watch old USWA, watch Memphis, watch like 80s Mid-Atlantic, World Class, Georgia wrestling. And if you go online, you can find like some lists of like some of the best angles and just read that angle and then you recreate it. I mean, how
many times do we have people go into a cake or something? You know what I mean? Like
there was an angle I ran 3 times now where I don't want to give it away, but I might run it again. But it's like a simple, fun angle. It gives the players a chance to get involved. I might bring it back. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it.
Like the whole Red Scorpion thing is a whole homage to the Black Scorpion from WCW, which had me fascinated in the fall of 1990. It's supposed to be the Ultimate Warrior, man. That's just the whole thing. Disappointment.
Nice.
IWL.
All right. Your IWL time is up, so you hit it.
All right.
Boom.
Independent Wrestling League. League champion, Sam Hain. Television champion, The Pilot. New York City's champion, Johnny Walker. Los Angeles champion, The Sailor. Boston champion, Andrew Arbelor. Detroit champion, Godlike, Johnny Phoenix. Cleveland champion, Sensational, Scott Foley. Dallas champion, Cowboy, Wes Stern. Memphis champion, Chase Grace. Miami champion, Joe Boren. San Francisco champion, Aljor Blackstar. Chicago champion, Adam Michaels. League Tag Team champions winning 5 free matches. 13 and Christopher Kane. TV Tag Team champions, Cowboy Western and Pool Cleaner Al G. The League 6-man champions, Black Apron, Anthony Moore Payne. Black Apron Thomas Killer. And Black Apron Guy Fury. TV 6-man champions, The Pilot, the Dam Builder, and The Sailor. And your Battle Royal winner winning 49 IWL matches, The Pilot. So what's going down in the IWL? Let's see what the next pay-per-view is for these guys.
Well, IWL, I can tell you a quick little side note is I tried something a little bit different with Atari last cycle, and I had him come out and cut a promo and call I think it was 5 or 6 people out and be like, "Hey, look, I want a series with each of you guys because you're all kind of big names in the league," and the guys included Joe Boring, Bulk Brogan, Magnum TL. Oh boy, F that up. Hold on. Ray Del Mundo, Magnifico Astro, and Su Yu Pai. Now, you might say to yourself, well, that was last cycle. Who answered? I'll tell you who answered. Jimmy Hoffa. So now I'm going to respond in kind. I've got an idea, and what I'm thinking is that I can kind of use it as a moment to do something fun with the leagues. So again, find something in the league that you can set up to challenge someone for, dangle something, it's just a way to mix things up. So we'll see. I know Astro right now is in a feud with somebody else who's kind of busy, but that's okay. I have an alternative idea to kind of involve those guys without involving them. Spoiler alert: Atari's going to set up 5 jobbers to represent each of those guys and just win a series each cycle and talk about his victories. Because that's what you do. Oh man. So that's all the leagues, right?
That is. You go to IWAR wide.
Sure. So IWAR wide. Sorry, as I yawn here.
We did Rolling Thunder, right?
We did. That's what I read that one. Yeah.
Okay.
So in this issue of the IWAR magazine, Magic Clash 23 has the results, and it was an interesting cycle because Rex Chambers, as the Revolution champion, beat Hydro by tiebreaker. But then later on, he defeated Kamikaze, and as a result, we vacated that Revolution championship because you don't have both guys, one guy with both belts. Your Trios champion, the McFlaherty brothers, Brendan and Rory, and Michael Przybylewski. Man, I butchered this. I stopped doing this report at like 3 in the morning. That's the problem. The regulars, Blackjack Robertson was not clear to wrestle, and so they were shorthanded, they claim, and they lost the belt. So now we have new 6-man IWAR 6-man champions, the McFlahertys and Michael Przybylewski. Your IWAR World Tag Championship, Justin and Chase Grace were defending against the Von Schnapps, Alex and Axel. That also went to a tiebreaker, and the Von Schnapps won on the tiebreaker. And so I covered that. So a couple things. I haven't done the new events yet. I haven't done like the scoring for like King of the Ring yet or Survivor Summer Series. I'll get to that. Lethal Lottery, same thing. Elite Trios, same thing. All Rookie Cup, Bad Company Cup. I have lots of scores to check. I can tell you the main event results from Super Show. So it was Rex Chambers versus Lex Stevenson, and Chambers won that match. So Chambers retains the IWAR Championship. We had a match to fill the Revolution Championship. So each commissioner, I asked them to give me one name of a wrestler in your league you want to give a shot to win this. The wrestlers were Gaelic Dick Moore, Apocalypse from BBL, Joe Tusa from BRL, the Reprobate Lenny Teague from CWL, Death Valley Drifter from IWL, Style and Savion Banks from NWL, the headliner Papacito, and Paladin Boone in WTL. And the winner with a 501, your new Revolution champion, the Gaelic Dick Moore.
Unbelievable.
The IWAR World Tag Team Championship, I wrote Amazing Graces. It should have said the Von Schnapps, but I effed that up. That went to a 3-round tiebreaker because the Disembowelers and the Von Schnapps both did 5/16s this cycle. They both did 5/16s last cycle. And then the cycle after that, it was like 5-10 for the Disembowelers and 5/16 for the Von Schnapps. Von Schnapps, I don't know. I'm on like another level right there. I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, so the IWAR World Trios Championship, I'm going to check right now. So look at this live scoring. So Michael Przybylewski and the McFlahertys scored a this could be bad news, fans. A 5-14. Meanwhile, IWL's Sailor, Pilot, and Dam Builder crushed with a 5-21 to capture the IWAR World 6-Man Championship. So well done. That's new champs. So I'll update that too. Some of the matches I don't want to give away just yet, but a reminder. I'm happy to write the title matches, get it off your plate. Don't worry about it. If you want to write any of the matches for this, like for instance, Jimmy, if you want to write Dick Moore's win, that's cool. I know you got Kamikaze or Brian Clothier. That's cool. Gary Morris is writing the Greggy Money match. Any other matches you guys want to pen? Alex, your matches. I know Ricky Spanish and Cowboy King Schlitz had that going on. Let me know. Totally cool. I know I wrote Luther Alexander and Hill Scorpion twice. What are you going to do? There's a lot more than that. I got to map out that whole show. But the more you guys can help, the better off I'll be. Reminder, the best of the best tournament. Round 1 is over, and the advances are Tommy Zulu, Frank Belcher, Solomon Shaw. I'm sorry, Wade Renard. Sorry, that's that. Derek Tuttle, Brad Norman, Caleb Crawdad, and Tom Fleischer. So that round actually just went off. The first round of round 2, right? The first series of round 2 went off this cycle. So we'll get back to that. Oh boy, I messed that up. So we talked about adding a section. Before we do that, the IWAR draft, we talked about it earlier. If you want to be involved in it, let me know. The more we get people involved early, the better it is. Just let me know. So we talked about strategy, like kind of a strategy minute. So what I want to do is kind of talk about kind of what we were thinking of last cycle. So I sent out the cheat sheet, right? The cheat sheet has a breakdown of what the options are in play, what like the holds have been doing, like red for 25, green for 30, yellow for 29s, and then I show like kind of what 45s went from. So this cycle, for example, 45 came from the stronger 44 and the stronger 40. So it's 44 stronger one, 43 stronger one. And you kind of, it's a way to add more depth to your picking, if you will. The holds going like a hold was worth 25 points, often drops like 2 cycles later. Did not happen this time. After 4 cycles in a row, it was happening. So that's another thing. We also went with 41s, or suggested going with 41s, because 41 went to 44 in iron and steel. Excuse me. It's just a way of like giving you some stuff. So in this thing, what I considered my A pick was 29-28, and my B pick was 28-26. I had a feeling 53 was going to drop. I wasn't sure about 22, so I was really reluctant, because 22 was good for so long. Then I kind of went, with the 41s, that was correct. My guess on the first 2, like 90 and like a 43, was 62 and 66. My gut was 62. So those 2 right there played out right. So it gives me what I'm saying here is like I had the right 44 hold, I had the right 43, I had the right 41. What I did botch was I had the wrong order for the 61, 67. I had it at 67 going up higher. So that was the other way around. Now, that doesn't matter if you're 501, you don't care about winning a major title. But in the IWA, one little slip, and that's it for aspirations for big titles. That's okay, though. Looking ahead right now, we have options including 29, 28, 29, 26, the 28s, 27s, 26s. So, going forward, that's basically 5 options, or 5 drop options. When I do the cheat sheet next time, I'll explain more about that. But I just wanted to give you guys kind of heads up and kind of look at like, what do we think was going to happen? And Gary had sent me a message. We have a Disciples of Doom chat group, and we're trying to get better about kind of communicating what we're doing for drops. Because my idea still is to incorporate what I learned from SOS, which was you kind of cover the options, right? If you have like 10 guys in a stable and you have, I don't know, 50 options, if you guys have 5 wrestles each, like, singles, I'm just saying, like, cover the bases and, like, as a stable, hit the report, right? I know, for example, Jimmy's 501 with Gaelic Dick Moore, I think he had the wrong 45 combo, whatever, and 10 was bad. So, that's okay. But, like, you might still hit Metropolitan. You might hit Gold Fed. It depends how things go. Just want to kind of shout that out there and get us a little more like reflective. Like, so how did we do? Some cycles were like, what the hell was that? Like, why did that way do that to us? Right. And other cycles were like, yeah. And this cycle was one where I did okay. But what's funny is Gary messaged me and he was like talking about how he was leaning on 62 and he kind of went back and did some 66s instead. And that ended up hurting him. And I was like, don't overthink it. Go with your first thing. The last thing I do when I play set my stuff in, the last thing I do is my strats, because it gives me less time to overthink it, and that's what happens a lot. So on that note, that was our strategy minutes.
I don't track holds.
There you go. Alex just throws a dart.
Still average of 494. I don't even try.
Yeah. Yep. 466. Don't worry, bud. You'll pop back. I'll tell you this. If you listen to our show, watch the How to Win video, even the multi-man video, and at least kind of like, and you can write to us. We'll talk or we'll chat on Facebook or whatever. We'll chat and talk about what's going on. We're happy to help. And the better you guys do, the better it is for us. We love it. So there it is.
There it is. Again,
that's all I got.
There's a couple of How to Win videos out there. You probably want the most latest version. That's correct. That's on your channel, Matt.
That's on the IWAR website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right in the bottom of the website.
So take a look at that. To me, it sounds like mumbo jumbo, but again, I'm not that smart.
It's okay.
So
I want to thank everybody for tuning in and chiming in and chatting up. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. All right. So for Matt Riley, I'm Alex.
Oh, 1 second. 1 second. We don't have a Discord server yet. There it is.
There it is. All right. So for Matt Riley, I'm Alex G.